Hello, drivers, teams, and painters, and thank you for your interest in the Rick Motec Sports Car Series. My name is Bobby Childs, and in this video, I'm going to show you some concepts that you need to keep in mind when submitting liveries to the league for the Rick Motec Road Racing Series that we run here. Thanks to some changes in iRacing, where we can disable the default numbers, we take advantage of the new car num file available to iRacing members to put on a more presentable series for us. We're able to better emulate the IMSA appearance among our car classes. However, that does take a little bit of a different approach when you're submitting your paints. It's a little different from what you would do in trading paints. We do not use trading paints. I'm also going to go over a little bit how to use the spec maps. I'm not going to do a full spec map demonstration. Just go over how you need to use your spec maps when submitting to the league. Full use of spec maps is kind of considered outside the scope of this video, although you can contact me if you need help, and I will be more than willing to help you out. So first off, one thing we need to do, and this will cover every series, every class that we run here. It'll be the same concepts no matter what car. Today we're using the Global Mazda MX-5. This is my team's new livery for 2020. Part of it anyway. You can't see the finished version of it because it relies on a spec map. So the first thing we need to do is disable this car decal file, this car decal layer that iRacing provides with the template. That absolutely does need to be turned off. In your custom spec map, make sure you do not have any corrections for this decal in your spec map that you send to the league. As you can see here in my spec map, there are no such layers for the decals. It's very important that you have all those decals turned off. So the next thing you want to do, once you have downloaded our decal guide, and you can see that this season I've kind of painted them green as a little helpful reminder for painters to remember to turn them off, because I've had quite a few cars submitted with the guides still turned on. So basically all you want to do, if you're in Photoshop like I am, and I don't have Paint Shop Pro or GIMP, so I can't go over how you would do that there, but I would imagine it's going to be pretty similar. Just duplicate this layer into your file and it will automatically place itself. If you try to drag and drop, it may come out of place. So try to do a duplication or an import, whatever your paint program allows for. So this basically just gives us an idea of where to line up the logos that we want for our sponsors on our cars, for us individual drivers or teams. But you also, again, let's look at the spec map again, and you see there's nothing there even for the league decal set. Again, it's very important that you send in a clean spec map. Once you're done painting your car, also turn off that decal layer before you export. The iRacing decal and our guide layer must be turned off before you export this file. So now we've got a clean file. We have these parts turned off. Make sure you turn those off as well. It helps reduce the overall file size. And we'll go in and save this file. And of course, all of you know where these files go. Now you're going to go ahead and save it as carnum or whatever file name that you want, because I will name the files or someone in the league will name the files as they produce them for the league when they finish them up. This is what they'll end up as. So you can name it anything you want at this point. And we'll just call this, because we don't really care about using it in iRacing right now, we'll call it D2D Chris 2020. And I'm just going through the motions here. If I would submit this to the league this way, and I'm saving it as a 24-bit TGA, I'm not compressing it. Do not compress your files. The league will compress the files. When you send them in compressed, they start losing resolution. And we really do want to present as high quality as possible. The less pixelation we can put in these paints, the better. So please do not compress your paints before you submit them to the league. Same thing with your spec map. We're going to go ahead and save it as a Targa as well. And you can save these anywhere you want for this purpose. I'm just kind of going through the file system. We'll save it as D2Disc Chris 2020 spec. And you can name it anything you want, but do make sure that you include spec map or the word spec, something in there to indicate to the league that this is your spec map that you're submitting. Also, save it as 24 bits and do not compress. Don't worry about 32 because we're going to change the alpha channel anyway. So we don't need the alpha. That's not important at this point. So go ahead and save it as 24 bits uncompressed. And then those two files are what you will send in to the league when you're ready to submit your paint. You'll have your main paint and your spec map. And please remember to keep them clean. Don't try to go ahead and put in decals. Don't put in battery tender decals or default iRacing, WEC, none of that. We need a clean file and a clean spec map. And that'll make this process run a lot faster. So guys, ladies, thank you for your time. We hope to see you on track and can't wait to see those beautiful paints. Have a great day and have a great race.